Happy Wednesday. For those of you who don't follow Key and Mercy, you're going to get a little bit of how Key and Mercy do things on the Key and Mercy pages on today because I feel as though how I'm feeling needs to be shared. And it's not just because I'm a little pissed today, um, it's because of what I'm pissed about. So I want to give you all this. I had a phone call with a man yesterday who's a father, and I'm listening to this father go on and on about his daughters and the things that they're doing and how he don't care and that's their life. And how once they get out of high school, all he can do is warn them about men. And if they want to put their naked bodies on social media, that's on them. And then he went on to tell me how just like how if a woman is getting her beat in a relationship with a man and she chooses to stay, that's on her. I got sympathy for her, but I don't feel bad for her if she chooses to stay. You got one or two options. These are his words, not mine. You got one or two options. Go to a shelter and get your life together or sit in it. Now, at that point, the conversation had been going on for almost an hour, and I was struggling with trying to understand, number one, how he felt about his daughters for real. Because I don't, as a mother, I don't feel that way about my kids. If I come across a naked picture of one of my children, which I think I probably have. And this is for parents who may be struggling with this. If you don't like what I'm saying today, turn the page, swipe up, do whatever it is you got to do. But I'm going to keep this all the way 100 with y'all today. If my child is posting nudes on the internet, number one, I have a bigger problem than I'm thinking. Because we have to understand what attention-seeking behavior is. You didn't post that out there for your girlfriends to say, "Oh, girl, your body's hot." You posted that out there for a bunch of Negroes to see it. Now, as a father, I need you to see why she's doing it. This man also had an issue with the fact that I used the words daddy issues. He feels as though his girl shouldn't have daddy issues because he did the best he could as far as not being there. And he's owned up to his mistakes. The conversation was quite confusing to me. But I think the part that probably bothered me the most is how he felt about women in abusive relationships. I ended the phone call when he made those statements because I took it personal. Now, throughout the phone call, he's telling me, this is me being real. People don't like hearing real stuff. I think there's a difference between people being real and people being offensive. Now, if you can't tell the difference, then I'm going to need you to stop calling yourself an adult. And so when he said that, I'm not going to lie. I lost sleep last night over the conversation I had with this man because, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, because I include myself in my opinions, and that's usually where they're derived from, my testimony. In my opinion, there are a lot of young ladies out here who don't necessarily choose to stay in an abusive relationship. They don't know what to do with it. And I was one of them. I was actually the one person that I did tell what was going on after they saw that I had a whole bit in my lip. Yes, that's how bad it was. I had a whole bit in my lip. And I had a whole grown woman tell me that sometimes we have to stay in things in order to make sure that us and our children are taken care of. Just don't make them mad. This is what a grown woman told me about the abusive situation I was in. Now, I'm not saying that all grown people are going to tell me that, but at the same time, I actually understood you didn't been down this road. That's how you're advising me that way. I cannot talk to you. Another point that this man, it's bothering me just to call him a man after that conversation. This young man made is that if you getting abused, that's on you if you don't bother to tell anybody. I'm not going to lie to you all. It's hard as hell to tell somebody when you're in that kind of relationship. It's hard to be honest without actually understanding that there's a possibility that you're getting ready to be judged. And I don't even think it's a possibility. It's going to go that way because when you tell people who don't understand the situation or don't understand that walk because they've never been in it, when you tell them that you're living with a man who's abusing you, the first thing they want to do is give you the two options that man gave me. You either going to stay in it or you going to get out. You can take them kids to a shelter. Stop giving people advice that simplifies their situation. I'm going to say that again. Stop giving people advice that simplifies their situation. You're not in it. You don't know what it takes to get out of it. I hate to say it, but at the time that I was in this relationship, I had already birthed a child with this man. So yes, we are sharing the responsibilities of this child. In a sense, I'm not even gonna lie to you all. I was in a. This was a very physical and verbal, emotional, and mentally abusive relationship, and I was in it for almost 3 years. And a lot of people don't like to ask the question, how did you get out? Because it's automatically assumed you're in it yourself. Some people just do it out of curiosity, because you're in a mental state where at the end of the day, I know for me, what I was getting out of it was the love and compassion after it happened. And I know some of you are lost in that, but I seriously had daddy issues. You have to understand what daddy issues actually comes with. There is no authority figure. When you're, and I'm not even saying a 2-parent household is okay, because that could be effed up too, but understand what I'm saying, that when you have a father in your life who can be nurturing when you're emotional, it bothers him that you're going through something or to see you hurt. It makes all the difference when you're out here dating. But when you've never understood how a man can be nurturing to you, the minute one does nurture you, you're kind of stuck. And this is a mental thing. This isn't a you have to be there. This is a mental thing. When he gives you something, I'm not even going to lie to you. The man I was in the relationship with, he was a D-boy. He was out there deep in the streets and everything. And to be completely honest with you all, he was showering me with gifts I had never had. He was taking me to get my hair and nails done. He was keeping me in designer clothes, made sure I stayed with a car and everything. And in between that, he was kicking my ass. But at the same time, no other man had even treated me like that, not even a father. So I didn't know what it felt like to receive gifts from a father figure. I didn't know what it felt like to have somebody that wanted to be around me. So it got to the point where mentally, when he had, I called them the Ike moments, when he had those Ike moments where he thought that he could woo me back, I went for it. Things would be good for a week or two, and all of a sudden, the minute he got drunk, because a lot of it took place when he was drunk, the minute he got drunk, we're back into this same situation. I'm not even going to lie for you. I was so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in this situation, because it was like, if he leaves me, then what? That's how much I became dependent on not just needing the things he was providing for me, but I was needing those small nurturing moments that he was also providing to me. I was needing the every now and then the I love yous. I was needing the every now and then the hugs, even if it came with him mishandling me. And at the time, I'm in church, but you can't give church people all your business either. They're not going to welcome you. I'm not going to say that's all of them. I hadn't came across the right church person that I trusted enough that would say, if you want to get out, I'll take you and your kids in. I hadn't came across that. And you have to understand that when you're going through something that can be embarrassing to talk about, you become a bit more private about what you're going through. You don't want to be ridiculed. You don't want people to simplify a complex situation when they're conversing with you. It's just that simple. You all also understand that this goes as far as actually raising our kids. When you don't provide them with the attention that they need, they will go out here and find that attention somewhere else. And it's probably not going to be with people that you would approve of. They'll sit at home and take negative attention from you versus positive attention because you're just showing them attention. So I want you all to understand that, number one, that conversation had me so heated. But you cannot simplify someone's situation who's in an abusive situation. You seriously don't understand mentally how they got to that point where they were accepting of that behavior. As a woman now, I can say that I did accept that behavior, but I can also take ownership of how I got to that point and why I got to that point. I understand my traumas that led to me understanding that these are needs somewhere in here. There's things I need somewhere in here. What I wasn't understanding is that I didn't have to want those needs from that person. Understand what I'm saying? It got so deep. I'm going to give y'all the dumb moments because we being all the way 100. It got so deep that he beat me up outside of a club one night. Chicago PD arrested him. And when he got out of jail the next morning, I had been the one to bail him out. That's how deep this was. When I did involve somebody, I involved one of my uncles and he went to court with me only for me to get up there and not want to testify against him. So let me give you all of this. If you are not ready to leave the person you're with, don't tell your family your business, because what you're doing is talking against this person and you're not ready to leave them. That then sets a standard that your family recognizes about this person, and they don't know how to come out of that. They can't love that person because you love them, because they don't have to be that in love the way you're in love with that person. It's not, they ain't sleeping with them. That's what I'm saying. They're not sleeping with that person. And I'm not saying that this is just a man beating a woman thing, because I've come across men who have had women putting their hands on them and they don't know what to do with that either. And I hate to say it, but when children are involved, that takes the mental to a whole different level, because now you have a lot to consider. In order to come out of it, I'm not even going to lie to you all, I had to set myself up to leave. And when I say I had to set myself up to leave, what I mean by that is I had to plan to leave without it having to be a fight. I'm not going to lie to you all, it didn't go over well. It was a bloodbath. So I'm going to leave you all with that today, because we're at like 11 minutes and I got to get ready to get signed on for work. But I will circle back on the Kia Mercy page. I wasn't even trying to go there with all of this, but I'm going to circle back on the Kia Mercy page and explain how that ended. Because somewhere there's a woman that needs to understand how you come out of these type of things, because it doesn't always have to end bad. I did come across another relationship that was mentally and verbally abusive, and I understood how to get out of that situation a little bit sooner than I did the physical abuse, because I had never went through it before. Okay. I don't mean to be so heavy today, but dude really got under my skin with his comments. Like, that was just, I don't even want to say it's immaturity. I think that he's naive and he doesn't recognize his own ignorance as far as what he doesn't understand in the world. To come out of the D-boy lifestyle and be in and out of jail and everything, you have to understand at some point you have to come full circle with your life and then come current. And in that, you actually have to go back and recognize how, not just own up to your mistakes, but you also have to recognize how your mistakes have impacted these kids that you weren't there for. Okay, I love you all. I want you all to have a great Wednesday despite everything I just dropped on y'all. Kia Mercy, I will see you next video. Those of you watching the Wake Up the Right Way Wednesday videos, have a great day on purpose.